So we need to keep on time because it's now time for the Watchlist winner segment. There it is. He's holding it up. It's Freshworks. And why don't we say a quick hello to Patty, who is here representing Freshworks before you launch into your diatribe on Freshworks. Patty, hey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks, Paul. Nice to meet you, Ginger.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah, hi.
All right.
So we just wanted to say a quick hello before we turn it over to Paul, and he will basically just talk about you like you weren't there for the next 10 minutes or so. So after he's done, then we'll all come back and then we'll talk with you and ask you all sorts of questions. Particularly, think about this question: why is Alan still with Freshworks? You can answer that on the other side. So with that being said, we turn it over to Mr. Greenberg.
All right. So this was one of the more unusual wins, actually. We have had one other one like this the whole year. The 13 winners for the watch list. And again, I'm going to reiterate something before I start. The watch list this year is suspended. It's not going to happen in 2020. Well, it's 2021 watch list, but it will happen again in 2022, which means February 2021. We'll announce the watch list for registration. What will happen is, and CRM players might be involved in this. What will happen is at the end of the year, I will be throughout the rest of the year assessing companies. I'm building up the criteria now for special award. 3 of them probably is the number that will be given out for how you've responded throughout the full range of the crisis. When I say that, I'm not just talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about the social unrest. I'm talking about the whole thing. And there will be an award for the companies that are doing the best capital G good, capital W works. Okay. And there'll be 3 awards for that. You don't have to register. You don't have to fill out questionnaires. This is all going to be proactively on my part. And toward the end of the year, there'll be a group of finalists announced. I haven't decided about semifinalists, probably not. A group of finalists announced, and then the winners. Okay. So that will be the watch list for 2020. All right. 2021. So Freshworks. So Freshworks, again, was very unusual this year because, and I only had one other winner like this of the 13, which is it tended to be, there was nothing in particular that made you go, man, that's mind-blowing. But they tended to be solid in everything, right? There was 1 or 2 places where you identify some holes, but overall, if you looked at every category, and there are a significant number of them, as you know, and that they tended to be solid from A to Z. So if I'm looking at some of the more let's say the things that stood out a bit, the product was one of them, and that again, as we've talked about a million times on the show, that this is not a product assessment award. This is an impact award. But their product was fascinating because look, I think it was 3 years ago, it might have been 4 now. Freshworks was Freshdesk, and it was customer service, and it competed with companies like Zendesk and others. And then they decided to go much broader, and they began looking at the whole CRM market. So there was fresh sales, was added and so on. And they started adding they started filling out the suite. They relocated a good chunk of their business to the U.S. Within the last, I believe, year and a half, really solidly, right? They began building out what they offered. And initially, it was uneven, obviously, because they'd had so many more years building out the customer service side of their offering, but it's become significantly more improved as the last year plus went on. And it shows in the solidity of the offering itself and the way they even market the offering, which came out strongly, right? The other thing they did wisely was that they kept focus in their market segment, right? It's very easy. Look, Freshdesk always played at the very upper end of small business into the up to the middle of the mid market, with a little bit of leap into the larger arenas, more upper mid market than enterprise. They're not right now, and this doesn't mean it involves future plans, but as of this year, they focused where they belonged. And again, you can choose new markets, but you have to do a lot more things, and there's a lot more uncertainties that occur when you pick a new market and tend to work. When you keep focus on a market to actually solidify what you've got as you're expanding your offering, which needed to be solidified too, you actually have the opportunity to really capitalize on that, which they did. And you've seen the company grow. It's grown like wildfire over the last several years. I don't remember the exact employee count now, but it's let's say this, it's probably 7 or 8 times what it was just a very short time ago. Now, the other thing with Freshworks, which has been interesting, and this is to the credit of, as much as we joke with them, this is to credit of Alan Berkson, a lot, is the outreach program itself has actually been substantial, but it's been him. And the reason I'm focusing that way, because there's a hint that Freshworks needs to blow that up and expand it a bit. But Alan has managed to stay in touch with key influencers in multiple segments around the globe, and he's getting support from parts of the management team to do that, of course. But the thing is that because he's managed to effectively get across Freshworks' mission, and I'm going to get to that as the final piece of this, and vision, and at the same time execution against that mission and vision. He's had a lot of analysts who have his back, right? And that's institutional analysts, that's boutique firms, that's independents like me and Brent Ginger, those kind of people. But the reason we have his back is because he makes, not only is he just a fundamentally good person, but he makes a cogent point of what the company's mission and vision is, and then executes against it, and shows how the company executes against it very well. And that goes to the heart of Freshworks itself, which is their mission. Now, this is interesting. I didn't say mission and vision. I said their mission. And it's a very simple and very clear and very smart mission. And I will read it to you. This was unveiled in 2019. And it's to help businesses create customers for life, period. That's the mission. Now, I want to say 2 things about this, and then I'll close. First thing is understanding mission and vision statements generally. Mission and vision statements aren't meant to be long explanatory things. They're meant to be short and get across a fundamental point that resonates with the people who hear them. They're meant to be effectively, depending on your generation, poetic or tweetable. That's just generational. It's like my generation, you want them to be poetic. You're, millennial or Gen Z, you want it to be tweetable, but maybe poetically tweetable or tweetably poetic. But this is what I mean: short, simple, and to the point. And then everything you do, once you make a statement like that, to help businesses create customers for life, is their mission. Not note, which is what most companies do, to say, well, we want to be the blah, blah, blah of blah, blah, blah. It's not what you want for yourself. It's how you want to help change things, right? And that's key to a mission statement. These guys nailed it. And the thing is that if you look through the submission in every facet, when it comes to marketing, outreach, when it comes to product development, when it comes to sales process, when it comes to strategy, overarching corporate strategy, etc., they execute against that specific mission. Now, you have to understand something. If you're going to have an impact, not only do you have to execute well, which they prove they do, but you have to be able to execute for the next several years against that mission too, which means the institutional capabilities have to be there. And even though there are some areas where I think that they can expand and grow and evolve, in each area, they showed that they had a capable, they had the capability to execute over the next several years. And that, you got to realize, that is a big deal if it's across the board, right? And they were one of 2, I'd say, were uniformly solid across the board. The next step, figure out the things you want to stand out in and move forward from there. So with that, hi, Patty.
Thank you. That was really, probably one of the reasons and for why I joined Freshworks. I was inspired by simplicity of that mission statement, right? And the role I've taken is also very similar to that in that sense.
So what is the role? Why don't you fill us in?
So I'm the chief customer officer at Freshworks, and we serve small and medium businesses, and we have a large group of customers. North of 50,000 customers, and serving customers at scale um, is tough, right? That problem's not been solved for. The B2B and SaaS industry, the not single biggest challenge, post COVID is really churn. Like, how do you solve for, customers going away? A part of it is the businesses, shutting down, but the other part really is like, how do you build an engaging experience, and how do you use the best of, digital tools to not make it non-obtrusive? Because it's easy to just say that, hey, outreach, and find a way to save your customers, but really think about metrics and things, signals, and using digital means to really interact with customers. So I'm here. I'm excited to be a part of Freshworks. It's been 4 months. I was the founder and CEO of a company called AnswerIQ, which I started at the wrong age in my life. I ran that for 2.5 years. I raised a round of funding. It was basically to solve customer AI in customer service. And prior to that, I was a CEO of a company, and I've spent over a decade at Microsoft. I was the first instance of Microsoft which was called, back in 2001, I want to say. Yeah, when Microsoft was just prior to the acquisition of Great Plains and other stuff. So I'm very familiar with CRM. I've been a sales leader, marketing leader. I used all tools, right? So I deeply understand the pain associated with the problem statement, and how hard it is to really get a single view of customer that everybody's dreaming for, right?
Yeah.
It's
interesting. Oh, sorry, Brent.
No, go ahead.
It's interesting, your position, because you're the chief customer officer at a place whose mission is, to create to help customers create a great customer experience. So your customer experience has to be a model customer experience. So the pressure's on.
No pressure. No pressure. Yeah. It is. I agree. And I think that basically it's one of those areas that, I've dived with my hands, put my hands dirty into the problem statement and trying to solve for really redefining and thinking about every touch point that we have with the customer. And how do we really streamline those experiences, reduce the friction in such a way that, it becomes, just like the whole marketing business and sales business has moved to inbound, right? I do think that there's got to be more digital conversations with, conversational channels that becomes less intrusive and easy and engaging for customers to work with you, right? And in today's times.
Talk a little bit about how your interactions with your customers have changed pre-COVID to what's going on now. What are the things that they're struggling with now, and how do you expect that this all plays out? So when we get past COVID, what is customer success in your interactions? What do you hope they're going to be like after we get through all this?
Sure. So, fortunately for us, I think we were in a category of products that were very relevant in the COVID times, in the sense that, help desk systems, essentially were going through the roof in terms of customer service complaints coming in. The second aspect is we also have a IT help desk management and a customer service help desk management. Both of these products were very relevant in these times. The fact that we had conversational experiences through our chat software, basically helped change the game for us. In that sense, customers were fundamentally saying, everything is remote. Everything in the future is going to be remote, right? Everything is virtual. And, how do we end up making sure that we can onboard and train 500 new agents, for example, or 500 new salespeople, or 100 new IT help desk people in an environment where everybody is remote, and we have to bring them on, train them, and let them understand how to be effective in their jobs. In a normal job, it takes 2-3 months often to onboard an employee, right? And so just imagine this at scale when you have to do this cross boundaries, cross geographies, in being able to do so. So that's one of the things we're seeing change quite significantly. And so the investments that we have put in our AI for assisting agents to get onboarded and trained is critical to how our products will be successful. Using AI to answer questions, and using more bots. Automation and bots is really on top of mind for customers, because one, there are cost pressures. Revenues are down, cost pressures are high, and so the first thing that we're seeing is like, hey, we want to really find a way to automate simple known queries, and that's one thing. That's the first conversation that they're having. Then they say, oh, we did not know you could actually automate decision trees and processes. And so once they are able to see the magic of what AI and automation can do, we're seeing a pretty large footprint of customers basically saying, let that be the first point of interaction, if you will, for our customers. And so we're seeing that narrative really coming from the customer, rather than us going out and telling customers that, hey, you should think about self-service as the first. The best service is no service. Like if customers can solve the problem themselves, that's better than anything else that you can do. And so that's certainly something that we're seeing. In the sales and marketing side, the world has changed upside down. Imagine the whole, inbound is the only way to think about it. Enterprise sales, in my view, is one of the past for the next year or two, because it's not like you're going to meet customers in their offices anymore. They use, so essentially everything from MQL, customer journeys, to how that becomes a sales qualified lead. That has to be a highly integrated and well thought through sequence that, you don't need to think about marketing automation and custom and CRM Salesforce automation separate. And so I think what I'm really super excited about is the fact that, as a company, we are really rethinking that entire business process. And over the next few months, we'll be announcing a product that brings together marketing automation, Salesforce automation, and customer data platform in a way that, if you had a visitor who traversed all the events, activities, journeys, can be seen to a salesperson. A finance person can look at that record and figure out what's the day's outstanding receivables. So seeing that whole picture, and starting with a small business, is where our journey is. And so, we wish to really make it simple and easy to implement, rather than how currently systems are. And I've used all systems, everything from all the best of breed systems. And I know this is a really hard problem to solve for. So sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, that's great.
I've got 3 questions for you.
Sure.
1, do you play an instrument?
Uh-oh.
I don't play an instrument.
Okay.
I'm terrible at music. Yes.
2,
yes.
does Freshworks have a band?
Freshworks has a band. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very important to this, by
Yes.
the way.
Freshworks has a band. They
All
have.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me tell you. So you're part of this challenge then. So CRM Players is issuing a call for a battle of the bands.
Okay.
Okay. Pega Systems has said they're in.
Okay.
Oracle said they're in, and they were the only 2 we've talked to so far.
Yep.
Freshworks?
No. Jamie said exactly was going to be in.
Oh, and that's right. Jamie
Right.
is now Chief Sales Officer. Exactly. So Exactly's in.
And we think Martin is probably going to represent Sugar, right?
It's got to. We'll just assume Sugar CRM's in. 4. Are you guys in?
So we're totally in. And, even if we don't, it doesn't matter where the band's from. There could be a band collection of people from across the world that we'll put together.
We don't care. We don't care.
That's right.
That's up to you.
That's
we're
good.
We're the judges.
Yeah, we're in. We're absolutely in.
We're having a panel of judges. Okay. And it will be broadcast over a few hours one day in the near future.
Alan's already put that in the Slack channel, and I'm pretty sure he's asking a bunch of people, trying to recruit them to participate in this right now.
Yeah, since you've now announced,
here's the thing,
unbeknownst to anybody at Freshworks, you've now announced they have a band
and apparently a dance crew.
But Zoho has a dance crew too. You can have a dance off too.
there's something else that actually Freshworks has, and I know this because of Alan. They have a very active group of DJs, and they even, I think they participate on a, I don't know if it's your own Twitch channel or not, but I was on there checking it out, the some of the stream for the DJ stuff. They got some talent over there, so they may be able to add a little different dimension, because so far we've seen guitar playing and lead singing, but we haven't seen anybody like get down on the drums or pick up the bass or break dance or scratch it out. So hey, we're all about adding all those elements. If
Battle of the Bands is just a generic term for battle of the music groups doing music in some way. Awesome. And we'll take them all and we'll judge them all too.
And we actually want to see real, like, fisticuffs maybe at some point, maybe smashing of some instruments, we want the battle part.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix
eating some live animals like bats on stage.
No, we don't really need to go to that level. No Ozzy Osbourne stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the genre I grew up with.
Automatic disqualification.
Yeah, the first bat that gets eaten, you're out. I'm sorry.
That's right.
All right, wait. I have a rules question, because Direct Marketing Club of New York doesn't have its own band, but one of our board members has a band. So would that count?
No.
Wait a minute. What is this a vendor? Is this a vendor?
If he has a vendor band, he can.
A data company.
If he's this is tech companies, as you probably noticed. So right, it needs to kind of be a tech company vendor band, and then it's okay.
So many rules. Jeez.
Yeah, so many. One.
Yeah, right. Well, two. No. There has to be a vendor and no bat eating. I mean, it's not really all that
hard. Especially in these times. It's so
that's all we need.
All right. Now, I wanted to bring one last person on, because I don't think he's ever been on with us where he actually had help in terms of who he rooted for. So because there is a Mets fan in Ginger already on board, I would like to bring on our buddy, our friend.
You'll be okay, Patty. You'll be fine with it.
Yeah. Mr. Alan Burke.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, God, that's enough of two Mets fans.
Oh, my God. He's sporting the hat.
You're outnumbered, Paul.
Time to end the show. Luckily, it's 4:02, not 4. But 3:58.
All right, man. So how does it feel to finally not be outnumbered and to actually have some friends? Because Patty is a friend. But wait a minute, Patty, are you a Mets fan? We just got to ask that real quick.
So I'm Seahawks fan. So I don't watch baseball because we don't have a great baseball team.
Well,
here,
Patty, it was fun having you here.
I'll tell you what. Basically, there's 3 people on this of the 5 who would not make the sports show. Would not. Although we had Alan on that one Friday. We did have you on that time.
And you're not a Red Sox fan, right, Patty? You're not a Red Sox fan?
No.
Okay, good. See?
No,
we're done here.
Yep.
Look, we've had the Red Sox on the show, so
Patriots.
Right.
Patriots. Sorry.
He's a Seahawks. I mean Seahawks fan, so he can't be a.
That's a low blow.
That's right.
Although I have to say, even though I don't like the Seahawks particularly, I do like Russell Wilson because he is the Yankees minor leaguer.
That's right.
That's why
Still?
I like him.
Wow.
Is he? So, yeah, because every year he goes and practice. Well, not this year, but up through last year, he would literally go to spring training and practice.
Yes.
Right. It was kind of cool too. And they both sides, let's say the actual team guys really liked him, and he loves baseball. And actually is pretty much a star. I mean, he's a really good ball player.
That's right.
At one point, weren't they calling him the best quarterback in New York or something like that?
Yeah.
No, that was Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward. Oh my God.
No, I think they were saying the Yankees had the best quarterback.
No, I know, but when
New
Charlie
York
Ward was the point guard for the Knicks, he was the best quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I just. All right, wait. That's tomorrow.
But wait, but I just have to do a shout out for the Freshworks dance crew. I was at our we had our annual conference in November. I went out to Chennai. It's all about dance and music.
Well,
So
they can be part of this too. You can have the both.
we,
of them.
we can really bring it.
We can bring
from that
We can have
perspective.
Zoho as a dance crew too. I know that.
I will only allow it if Alan is part of the dance crew.
Two rules.
Then we would make you front and center for.
So that's 3 rules: vendor, tech team, no eating bats, and Alan has to be part of the dance team.
Other than that, it's a go.
All right. It's all right.
All right. Wait. Hey, Patty, it's great to meet you, and thanks
Pleasure,
for being a part of this show and the segment. And Ginger, you'll always be a horseman, and you will never be pestilence because that's already been taken care of.
And we've modernized, and don't forget, it's modernized to digital pestilence.
That's right. He does
Right.
like the digital part of the pestilence.
He is Esteban is digital pestilence. That's his.
Does that mean the pestilence is even worse because it's digital?
God knows.
Or I have no idea.
Who knows? It just sounds good.
It does. All right. So on behalf of Patty and Alan and Ginger, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are all CRM players, and at least 2 of us will see it tomorrow to talk sports on Excuse the Intrusion. Although in the future, we are working on an Excuse the Intrusion versus Pardon My Disruption show at some point.
Yeah. So far, no luck.
We're gonna have to get the doctor to join us.